Hey, you guys, it's Life of Nikki Lee podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing well and living your fullest every day. Happy Saturday to you. I hope you're enjoying your weekend as much as I am. Even though it's cold outside, your girl is staying warm and in good spirits, and I hope you are too. So, on tonight's podcast, we are going to talk about when you choose your person, but your person does not choose you. Now, recently, a subscriber reached out to me and they asked me what did I think about the whole situation with DJ Twitch and his widow, Allison Holker. I think that's her name, her last name. I think that's weird that she still doesn't have his last name, that she doesn't have his last name anymore. But anyway, I digress. They wanted to know what I thought about that whole situation, her coming out with the book 2 years after his death. Now, I'm going to tell you like this, and this is just how I am because I'm a straight shooter. I like to be diplomatic. I like to look at things from both sides, but I also like to call a spade a spade. And that's why I named the podcast what I'm calling it tonight, when you choose your person, but your person does not choose you. Now, for those of you who don't know, Allison came out with a tell-all book. It basically highlights, some childhood trauma that she went through. And it also highlights that she was talking about the death of her husband, where she says that he basically died as a result of, drug usage, allegedly. Now, here's how I feel about this. Stephen is no longer here. And usually you have sympathy for a widow, but when the family of Stephen came out and they were like, yo, this chick is bugging, there's a whole lot she's not telling you. And then they said that she made them sign NDAs just to attend the funeral. And even now, the children that they had together, she's not letting his family see those children. When I look at that kind of behavior, I immediately see red flags. Now, I have seen this happen many, many times before. And I said it once, I'll say it again. People get real disrespectful when somebody dies. Real disrespectful. I have experienced that and among my own family, and I have seen it happen to so many others. People show their true bald-headed ass when someone passes away. And it's very disheartening to see, but it also lets you know that, all that glitters ain't gold. And everybody that calls themselves your blood ain't really your kinfolk, okay? This woman was with this man like all these years. They had their children together. I just found that to be a tad bit disrespectful, that she's coming out with this tell-all book and he's not here to defend himself, obviously, because he passed away in 2022. And I just feel like that's not right. If somebody is struggling with an addiction, whatever the situation may be, let that be their story for them to tell. And unfortunately, some people don't get to tell their story because they check up out of here. But again, you have to think about the fact that this may not even be true, because as Stephen's family is saying, the most he ever did was, smoke a little weed. But Miss Allison, on the other hand, she's had some issues with some drug usage, such as allegedly. She's had some issues with some drug use, such as meth and all the heavy hitters. So it's just kind of like, what do you look like being that you were married to this man, you had children with this man, And then you write this tell-all book. It's really given desperate. It's really given that you're trying to maintain a lifestyle and you're trying to live off of a dead man's name. Now, usually, like I said, I try to look at things from both sides of the street because there's always more than one side of the story, correct? But it's a bit janky and it's a bit suspect when you see someone trying to come out with a tell-all after somebody has passed. And see, this is what I'm saying. When you choose your person, but your person does not choose you. Because a person who truly loves and respects you and protects you and wants to protect your children and your legacy, they wouldn't do something like that. In my opinion, I don't think they would do anything like that. I felt like if she wanted to tell her story about what she endured during her childhood, she could have done that. But let's keep it a buck. Nobody was checking for Allison. She knows it. The whole world knows it. Nobody was checking for her. And so, of course, she had to mention her famous husband because everybody loved this man. Everybody knew him from the Ellen DeGeneres show. He was well loved and well respected by so many people. So, of course, she's going to throw him up under the bus and slam his name, talking about, you know, he had problems with drugs and she didn't find this out until she was looking for a suit for him to wear for his homegoing. And then she found some drugs. Now, I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, girl, if you want to talk about what you went through with your substance abuse, talk about it. But that man is no longer here. He's no longer here. He can't defend himself. And then on top of that, you're treating his family like absolute shit. You're not giving his family any respect whatsoever. And then you are supposedly in another relationship. They said she was dropping hints that she's like in another relationship with somebody. Like, look, I get it. Okay. If your spouse has passed on, you deserve to be happy. If you move on with somebody, fine. But you got to look at the timing here. For her to have been married to this man as long as she was, he passed away in 2022. It is just now hitting 2025. You mean to tell me you moved on that quick? Like, did you know this man prior to your husband's passing? I mean, there's just so many questions. And it's just like, she wrote this book I feel like as a way to be empowering and to call herself helping those who struggle silently. But are you really doing that, Allison Holker? Are you really doing that? Or are you just trying to get that bag off a dead man's name? And no disrespect to, you know, DJ Twitch when I say that. I'm just saying in general, people love to disrespect the dead. People wait until people check up out of here and then you got something to say. And I just think that's some real coward type of stuff. So yeah, maybe she wanted to have people thinking this was her way of being a strong woman and surviving and pushing through and giving a voice of empowerment to those who struggle silently. But no, I don't think you were doing that, Allison. I think it's all bullshit. And like I said, I have to call it like I see it, because my whole thing is if you want to address, you know, if he had this problem and you wanted to address it, there are other ways that she could have addressed, you know, trying to help others with substance abuse other than putting his name in a book. And the way she did it, it was just so tacky. It was so disrespectful. And the coroner, by the way, who did his autopsy, did not find any drugs in his system. Could it be that he was suffering with depression, that he was going through a lot of things? Probably so. And a lot of people were saying, well, he suspecting that he took his own life. In my opinion, I think that he died under some very suspicious circumstances that still need to be looked at. That's just my opinion. That's how I feel about it, and I'm standing on it. But she wanted to have that effect as if she was trying to help others, but it backfired on her. And this is what I'm saying. When you choose somebody, but they don't choose you, their ways will always show. When you get with someone, something's going to be in the mix that doesn't quite align with you. Outside looking in, they look like this beautiful, wonderful couple. You're like, oh, you know, what a beautiful, happy family, this, and that. But behind closed doors, they were having problems. And that's the real deal. They were having some real problems, and perhaps they were headed towards divorce. Somebody was probably stepping out on somebody, just me assuming, you know, don't quote me on that. But people do go through things in their marriage. And me personally, just from when I, you know, was following him on Instagram and stuff, there were moments where he would discuss, you know, his displeasure with certain things. Like, you know, he would try to speak on issues with injustice towards Blacks and this, and that. And people would come on his platform and they would say, oh, you know, stop trying to make stuff about race, Twitch. You're better than that. Don't bring that kind of stuff up. How are you going to tell this man how he should feel about social issues that affect him deeply? And this is what I'm saying. A lot of times when Black men get with women of other races, you're expected to coincide with their thoughts and their beliefs and whatever they're riding with. That's the truth. If you don't want to accept it, I don't know what to tell you. That's the truth. It's almost as if you have to water yourself down to fit into their little bubble. And that is probably one of the reasons, if he did have a lot of things going on with depression or whatever the case may be, and if that led to him wanting to check up out of here, then we have to look at these things, people. When you get with somebody, when you build a life with somebody, you have to be very careful who you're building that life with. Because you could very well be all on board with them and choose them, and at the same time, they don't choose you. Meaning that they're married to you, they may have a family with you, but they don't fully embrace you. They're not going to protect your name. They're not going to protect your legacy. They're liable to do anything to handle you in a careless manner. And they're going to probably treat your family like shit, especially if you're not here anymore. And I don't care what anyone says. It's just she handled that the wrong way. And I think it's just so tacky. And I'm so tired of people with these fucking tell-all books. Why don't you want to address things when people are alive? Why don't you want to address it with them when they're alive? How were you married to this man for all these years, but you didn't find anything until he was gone? I mean, just from what I'm seeing, this is what makes me not want to even entertain this book in its entirety, because it's all bullshit. I feel like if this man loved you, if this man embraced you, if this man, you know, took care of you and your the children that you all had together for all these years, this is how you pay homage to him? Writing this disrespectful ass book and then jumping into another relationship? Girl, bye. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. How do you feel about it? Do you feel like she's wrong for writing this book? And, you know, rest in peace to Stephen Twitch Boss. Thoughts and prayers to his family. And also, again, thoughts and prayers to all of our people out there in California. Lord have mercy. They're really going through it, y'all. Keep prayers going up for them. All right, you guys. This is Nikki Lee signing out, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.